From the West Side, this is The Greg Show, starring Gregory Struss. I'm Scotty Vegas, inviting you to stay tuned for the next 30 minutes, because you'll meet up-and-coming life coach Daved Beck and hear ways in which to improve your life, plus many other surprises. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man who is paying for the shindig, Mr. Gregory Struss.
Yay! Thank you.
Speech impediment.
Well, you have a speech impediment? But it was good. It sounded good. Scotty Joe Vegas, everybody. Let's hear it for this. Lots of love. Anyway, welcome to The Greg Show. Soon to be a part of the McDonald's TV network.
All right.
McDonald's TV. Now, McDonald's is now trying to put a TV network together. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to moderate a debate between Mayor Bloomberg and Mayor McCheese on the soda ban issue.
Hello,
So, did you know that New York is the first city to ban large soda servings? And right? People from tuning in to the new Katie Couric talk show. Thank you. I did not know that, as Johnny used to say.
I did not know that.
I did not know that. Weird. Yeah. All right, yes, McDonald's TV is heavy on the movie rotation. You know which one they're playing? Grease.
Hello again, everybody.
Thank you. But I like the newest show. I really like the newest show that they're going to be coming out with, CSI Hamburglar.
You okay? You drinking the same stuff I am?
CSI Hamburglar. Yes, Mick D TV. Mick D TV. The Irish are suing.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay,
it's a little fast, you know what I mean? A little fast. But speaking of food, a teenager, a high school teenager actually in Phoenix, Arizona, was charged with a felony after he was involved in a food fight.
Really?
When asked for a comment, presidential hopeful Mitt Romney responded, "You mean we actually feed those kids?"
Oh, Jesus.
Rough crowd.
Rough crowd, ladies and gentlemen.
You say Bob Hope today, and the kids are like, "Who's Bob Hope?"
Who's Bob Hope?
I don't know. Anyway, our friend Seth MacFarlane, who recently hosted SNL, will now MC the upcoming Academy Awards telecast. Seth brings youth, edgy humor, and talent to the show. Wait a minute, what was that noise? Did you hear it?
That was silence.
The sound of Billy Crystal pooping in his diaper.
In my head. In front of me.
No!
It's true.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Is it cloth or depends?
He prefers the store bought, not cloth.
No, you said you had a song. Is this in regard to the poop?
Not right now. This is for future shows. I'm going to be singing some medleys to you, and just some stuff I picked up.
So we're down here. We're at the big Comcast network studio.
The hub of entertainment.
The hub of entertainment, but we're not sure if it's tonight. And I'm walking out of the room. You're singing down the hallway.
Are you sincere? Because Andy Williams died.
Who did?
Andy Williams.
Oh, that's right.
It's dated now, but
He did.
Yeah.
But speaking of diapers, there was this guy named Henry Billups in grade school at Lincoln Junior High in Dalton.
Okay.
And all the lights would be shut off in the locker room, and people would start throwing shoes and stuff.
Yep.
And he'd start belching out the tune to the Love's diaper. Love's! As everyone is like throwing shoes at each other. I don't know. Anyway, we got a great show tonight. Daved Beck, who is an up-and-coming psychic, and, would you say a medium? I'm a double extra large right now. I know you want to laugh. And a life coach. And it was very interesting because we were talking earlier. He was like, I really see something. And I said, I do too, but I really don't have anything else to say about it. We have, I don't know where I was going with that. I felt something. I felt a joke psychically coming, and somehow I lost it somewhere down the line. And we're also going to show some of the work from a dear friend who I have not talked to in a while. Recently celebrated a big birthday. We're going to take a look at some work of Ron Weiner, who directed Donahue, some of the shows you might know, Bozo.
Your show.
He directed our show, a couple shows.
Yeah.
Which was the pinnacle of his career, by the way. And and we're also going to just have a lot of fun tonight. Scott's Aunt's here.
Yes.
But I don't think we're going to, yeah. Scott, how have you been?
Yay!
Well?
Gene.
Scott walks around and says that you're his bank. So we'll find out about that.
My bank, baby.
Anyway, I am Greg. This is The Greg Show, and we are reinventing community television in the West Side and beyond, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Ready with us. All right.
Let's go. Hi, Katie. How you doing? Hi, Jimmy. How you doing? So the dog is still with us. Last few times you've the last few times you've joined us, we seem to have the same problem. Okay, wearing that. You're teasing me with your dress too. Every time you come on, we always have a problem with the microphone. I don't know.
There.
Okay,
Didn't
very
make it
well.
simple
Let's
this
give her a
time?
hand. She got it right.
Big pressure. He is such a ham. I'm telling eating. Oh my! Who's feeding my dog? Okay, sorry, Greg. I think he might be eating part of the set, but in any case, I really do. I didn't give him anything. I don't know.
It does the body good. Remember that. Okay.
I'm holding you responsible for his medical bills. No, the whole thing is it's those people who are most consistent. He's just, they always say kids and animals, man, always steal the show. I don't know why we're here. I think we should leave. Tudor has a skin problem, okay? Show off. Since we've last seen you, okay, the dog has developed dermatitis, which is why he looks like this. He's had Valium twice a day. It does not make him more relaxed. It just makes him hungry. And he wants to run like this all the time.
Sleep here. Okay. So how do you...
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Just having a chat.
Hey!
And his lovely aunts and all of our crew. here
Yay,
at
the
Greg
bank,
Show.
baby. All right.
Just want to remind you that you can contact us at gstrussman@gmail.com. I really don't know for what reason, but I just want to, put it out there. And I'm also on Facebook.
G-Man.
G-Man. Okay. Great show tonight. A little bit, we'll be talking with Daved Beck, who is a psychic medium and life coach.
Life coach.
And I said, well, where was your referee outfit and the whistle? It's like, you're effed up. Time out.
TV time out.
Okay, of course. I thought this was kind of interesting. As I was looking through the news, we were talking about Miguel Cabrera. Miguel, okay. Plays for the Detroit Tigers.
Yes.
And evidently he had a little bit of a problem and now is on a mission. And I thought what was nice, he had a little bit of a problem with drinking and was involved in some things, and was involved in some things that were not so nice. What I liked about it as I was reading this was that he was honest and apologized to his team.
Very good.
He apologized to his fans.
Very good.
And he apologized to his family. And that's really good.
That's good.
Because that's somebody that's working a program and who's on a mission. So
Right.
I was really touched because the Detroit is doing real well, I guess, in playoffs and such. And so they had this big party, as they always do, with all the champagne and stuff. And, the team players decided, okay, we'll do the non-alcohol type champagne and stuff.
Very good.
So he still sat out. He went, had his time out, came back in. Now, what people don't understand is that, it's like people that say, I'm not drinking today. When people say I'm not drinking today, because we live in such a drink-centric society, it's like socially it's acceptable to drink, but there's also, for some people, social things that are not so good, such as drinking and driving, domestic abuse, things like that. So for some people, we're not able to have a drink today for various reasons, whatever. So I thought it was really nice, compelling, uplifting that someone like Miguel, who is...
Because the heat was really on him.
The heat was really on him, and I wasn't aware until I started looking through this, that, you know, here's somebody who makes good money.
Good money.
High profile.
High profile.
And he decided to do the right thing. You know, and in recovery, a lot of people talk about doing the next right thing. He did the right thing. He went out, he apologized for what he did, and he's staying true to himself. And hopefully people will respect the fact that Miguel and a lot of people like him are not drinking today. Because there's no such thing when you get to a certain point in your life of, you know, doing responsible drinking.
Maybe he'll come on your show once he watches, and
I'd welcome him.
maybe he'd take my job.
So, Miguel, if you are watching, you always have an invitation here.
There's a spot with Scotty Joe Vegas, Miguel.
And congratulations on your sobriety. You're working a good program.
All right. It's tough to talk about the enemy, but they need to be talked about. Right?
Right.
Right.
Now, some real outrageous comments that I've heard recently. Okay, it's like the budget on the set. There's a reason why, you know, and the budget on the show.
Okay.
Well, you know, when you were in Michigan, you had a big set and everything else.
Okay.
And in Michigan, it was a different story. We had a leftover set that we had built and moved it, and, you know, I was kind of obsessive-compulsive, had to move the place several different times. It was like the size of a Danley garage.
Family garage.
Door.
Yeah.
So someone, you know, sends on the Facebook, well, looks like your budget got... This is why it's community television, kids. We're doing community television. We don't have a big budget.
We are?
Yeah. We're coming in, you know, not smoking the joint anymore.
Not smoking the wee-wee and all that stuff. I understand.
We're just doing a show, that's it. It's a little show. You know.
It's okay to be itty-bitty.
Yeah.
That's what the guy said in that music song.
Right. And was it the one you were singing earlier? and you know, it's like somebody told me, it's like poco poquito in Spanish. It's little by little. So each week we're doing something little by little.
Yes, my friend.
And you know, that's what it's about. It's little by little.
Little by little.
And so, like, one of my dear teachers, and we were talking about teachers last week. This was somebody who I had in college years ago. And she's like, get together for lunch. And she's like, you know, it's so good to see you, but, you know, if you want to do TV, you really got to lose weight. I'm like, well, there's the pick-me-upper. It's like I've done so much work and doing the things that I need to do in my life, but yet it's like, you're not good enough to be on TV. You're too fat. And like the visit to the doctor, and she kept telling me 3 times, you know, you really could benefit from a exercise program. And I was like, what are you doing later? And it was inappropriate. And there was like a silence of doing that. I don't know what my point is, but it's just like, you know, life is a process. And we're always hopefully improving, trying to do the right things in our life, and yet there's always somebody out there that can pick something up. Like all of you were making fun of me earlier because I was drooling.
It may be just
all this diaper talk. Now I'm getting into the
from one of your relatives in a past life that, you know, fall's coming and you're trying to put on your husk to go fight. Maybe it's one of your people from the past trying to, you know, it's inbred. It's your what do they call it? The horses got it. What do they call it?
What is it?
Your DNA, but they call it something else in the horses. They call it
husk.
Pedigree. It's your pedigree. It's in you. There's a relative out there that he used to put it on just before wintertime, and you got to deal with it, man. I'm not a brain surgeon.
I don't know. Did I have a point in all
no,
this?
No, I don't know.
Did it come full circle
at
all? All right, let's talk about a little bit more about winning.
Oh.
I love this man. I love this man because he was somebody who, who I met probably about 20 years ago or so. We were doing the show in Chicago and decided that we wanted to do some different things. And he was kind enough to say, all right, well, I'll come and direct it. So I get a call one day from one of my people.
Your peoples.
At that time. And he said, you know, I met Ron Weiner. And I'm thinking to myself, Rob Reiner? From the Meathead?
First time I heard it.
Yeah. And he says, no, you don't know who Ron Weiner is? Bob was like a big fan. We were both big fans of Donahue. But Ron, he was like really big fan of Ron Weiner's. And Ron started in WGN back when WGN and all of these local stations were doing local shows. You may have heard of, what was the show? Family Classics.
Yep.
I think behind the door, whatever that, behind the green door, whatever was done on CBS. So Ron did a lot of these local shows in the 50s, 60s.
You just don't
Garfield
have old
Goose.
people here to reference that.
No, I don't.
You got a bunch of young bucks in the room.
No, but Ron recently celebrated what I feel is an important birthday. And to honor Ron, I'd like to show something a presentation that was shown at the 2003 Silver Circle Award, honoring his, I don't know what he had, 40, 50 years in the television industry. I mean, he worked with Jenny Jones, he worked with Joan Rivers,
Yep.
and really the god of the daytime, which I hope we really are able to get here. And I think it is realistic. Do you think Phil Donahue will be coming here, David? I'm going to have to do that psychic medium thing. So anyway, here's a look at Ron Weiner, some of his work, and I think you're going to enjoy it, and we will look at it now.
When we moved to Chicago, we had the same feeling we had when we started in Dayton. I remember landing at O'Hare and looking out the window at all those houses and apartment buildings in this megalopolis, and I'm saying, what if they don't like us?
No kidding. Can you imagine some guy after a six-pack saying, "Here I come, Harry"?
Here he goes! Oh!
Ron Weiner served as director of the Donahue Show for 10 years. He was always good.
I would not allow any of my kids to walk out the door looking that way.
What if they insisted on it?
I couldn't insist. I'm the mother. Hey, listen, kids, get with it, clean yourselves up, and go to work.
Always in focus.
You are the only man who is copying after Jesus' name on the back of your magazine?
I think Jesus had a sense of humor.
Always on the money. Whenever we were panicky or had a problem, we had a phrase to solve the problem, and it was "Get Ronnie." And he was always there, and he always solved it.
We haven't gotten our just due. I'm tired of that.
He's too prejudiced. What is he going to do for us? It's a black.
Look, I worked hard and I put that money into government. Why don't the government come in and do something for the poor people? We, the people, that's what we need.
And the winner is Ron Weiner. Running him Nazis in the Klan.
I certainly would like to thank the Academy for this heart-stopping moment.
Fantastic broadcasting. Hey, gentlemen.
So, Ron, wherever you are, I know he's around. I've been in touch. I will be after this, I'm sure. Love you. Hope you are able to come out and see us, and a happy belated birthday to you. When we come back, I just want to comment quickly on the Donahue Show. When you see a show like that, I mean, there were two shows as I was a kid growing up in Chicago that I tuned into every day before I went to school. One was Phil Donahue, 11 to midnight, 11 to noon, and then Bozo Circus came on at noon to 1.
Little Ray Rayner.
Yeah, so you had a little bit of Phil doing his thing, and his thing was really the real thing. You didn't have, like, who's your baby daddy, and you are not the father, and you are not the felon, and, I mean, it was just, his show was like a daytime staple. It was like a daytime deal, and my biggest dream is to be able to have him on this program.
It's an old-fashioned broadcast.
Absolutely. All right, Scotty Joe, good to see you.
All right.
When we come back, Daved Beck, and lots more surprises. And we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you.
The new area code, Sammy.
I don't like it. I really don't. And I have enough equipment in this barrel here to do an hour show for the adults or the children.
Well, we don't have that kind of time today. We only have about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. What can we do?
I usually do a joke when I come in, and I say, "Hi, everybody. Is everybody here? Yeah. Okay, I'll see you later."
Well, see,
Goodbye.
the problem is they probably can't hear you because you have the music playing so loud. I don't see them jump your age. We don't have that much time in the show.
everybody. We are back. So, I don't know, we're having this conversation in between the break, and you start doing your Bob Hope. And nobody today even knows who Bob Hope is. So do it for me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here. We're going to have Raquel Welch out here in a few minutes. Hey, isn't she something? I'll tell you what. 1969. Get down. God bless. Good night, everybody. Merry Christmas.
So the three of us are abused. Anyway, let's welcome psychic, medium, and life coach Daved Beck, everybody. Hello.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Were you entertained by any of it?
Oh, it's a great show. I love it. It's fun.
Are you finding that what's going on behind the scenes is funnier?
Oh, it's great. Come and get put.
What I found was interesting, other than I can't speak, is that we were sitting down and you're like, I'm feeling, okay, do you feel cheese and sausage? Because I'm thinking pizza
Cheese
right
and
now.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. I'm thinking pizza after the show. Okay.
So we were talking about life coaching and all of that. So
right.
Yeah, and how it works for me, I can see images or I tap into emotional fear. And there's where the life coaching comes in, and we all have fear. So I help people shift that and become aware and, not be afraid. Afraid of death, afraid of judgment, all of that.
What about people that have a fear of diapers? Obviously, I do tonight.
Well, the diaper thing. I would put a bunch of babies around you and say, let's go for it.
All right,
Start changing.
I'm sorry. Fear is not, what was the saying? Success is never final. Fear is never fatal. Courage is the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
So fear, people don't realize that there's a lot, that fear is real.
Well, yeah.
But fear is never really going to kill us, is it?
No. It all depends. If we can allow our emotions to get the best of us and be angry, definitely there's people that pick up guns and look at the world. That's what's happening right now. And with the whole end of the world hoopla, it's not ending.
I miss the 80s. You know why? Because I used to pick up Guns N' Roses. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
I love that.
I'll be here all week. It's my schedule. So how did you get into doing this? Obviously, this is a natural gift, but how did you realize that? Well, you know what? I think I can, see it.
Well, when I was younger, I was always connected to spirit. Metaphysics is on both sides of my family. And my mother was an alcoholic, and so.
You had one in your family too?
Yeah,
wow.
There's plenty in my family. But,
thank you.
We have to deal with that stuff, and having for the first 9. In between 12, actually, I lived with my mother for the first 9, and then I moved back and forth between my paternal grandmother, and my mother's house, back and forth. And I was always connected to spirit. It was the one thing that connected me to my voice, because I was told I couldn't speak up. I would say things that would happen, and so I was told, shut up, don't say anything. And, I was told I was never going to amount to anything. And yet, here I am. So.
But I think, that's what kind of kills me about today's generation. Because I think gone is the art of communication, number one. The art of communication and being able to sit down. It's like, if you're trying to, meet people, you meet people online now.
Right.
And then you have this exchange online. And, and then you
safe.
finally ask, do you want to go out? You finally get down to it. And it's like, and then you don't hear from them, or it's like, well, that's not what I wanted, or
right.
what have you.
Right.
But I think this generation is getting used to the being
connection,
non-connection.
Yeah.
So I think
texting,
and when we were growing up, there was a lot of the negative reinforcement going on that doesn't exist today. Like you're not going to amount to anything was meant to supposedly motivate you to be something.
It did, and also though it does instill. We're all afraid of rejection, being told no, being told we're not good enough, because judgment's out in the world. And I help people become aware of where we're judging ourselves. A lot of people feel judged in this world, and there's separation and segregation and all that. And if we just come to a place of we're no different, we're all here to love. We're all here to be loved. So let's just, you know. So, yeah.
I've had a life of rejection. Seriously.
Yeah.
And it hasn't just been in my bedroom. All right, when we come back.
Wow.
Now, we were talking about the Donahue thing. Like, I always wanted to meet Phil. And this is what was so weird. Because back when Ron Weiner got his, that award in that award presentation, he said, Greg, why don't you come to Chicago? And I really wanted to come to Chicago, but, I was playing softball, and we had this tournament thing going on. And I was like, and now years later, I think to myself, and you know who presented the award was Phil. So back in the day, I always envisioned having the Courvoisier, a cigar, and talking with Phil and Ron and my friend and mentor Bob, who was since passed, and talking about the good old days of the Donahue Show. And it could have happened that night, and like an
and
idiot,
it still could. It could have happened.
Not with the Courvoisier, but yeah.
But woulda, coulda, shoulda. But you still can. You got to be accountable to what it is. If you just let it sit, like I said, you didn't call me up. Hey, David, I had to show up and say, hey, I'm interested in your show. So if you have a dream, we got to be accountable to it. If we're not, we let all of our excuses. I don't have time. I don't have money. All of that stuff gets in our way, and that's the emotional fear keeping you from what it is you want to have. Because why? Quite possibly you could be rejected. Quite possibly you said, nah, you're nothing, I don't want to.
Right.
But you got to take that risk and say, hey, here I am, and be persistent about it.
And you know what? And it's like, well, you know what? We're doing a show. And it's like sometimes, well, you're not doing the kind of show that you could be doing. And it's like, but we're doing this right. Yeah. And it's like, you know what? This is the first time I'm doing something in my life that with a group of people that I absolutely love and adore. We're having fun. I know it's glacially slow, but I'm doing it. There was so much fear walking into this that, and I was talking with Celine. I started talking with Scott, and it wasn't until a week before we went on that I called Scott up and said, "Would you like to do the first show?" I wanted him to do all the shows, but I wanted to extend it and say, "Well, would you at least be the guest announcer for the first show?"
Right.
And then that night he said, "I want to do all of them when I can." So we worked on the schedule.
And
I was like,
dream
wow.
Happened. Right. And then it just manifested. And it's because you took that first step. But oftentimes we stop ourselves because we start, our mind is the porthole for fear. Hello, it's where movies get made, right? Don't go up the stairs. And, does art imitate life or does life imitate art? So we can make it up. But it's about taking those next steps and say, okay, I'm going to actually manifest this. And we can.
On the McD TV, the McDonald's DTV.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that whole thing. Yeah.
The movie they're playing is Grease. All right, see, I said it twice in the show. So hopefully it gets
we get a sponsor.
But that's just it. It's like all of the fear manifested. Okay, so now we've done the first show, the second show, the third show, and it's like, okay, so how do we continue building on this that, you keep people interested, keep yourself interested, and continue to grow and evolve and do what we ultimately want to do.
We all have to start somewhere, and it's those first initial steps. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but that's if we're accountable for ourselves.
Conversations on Success, you are also on Facebook.
And my
where
website.
Can people get the book?
My website, evolutionthenextlevel.com.
Evolution, the next level. Do you have anything about diapers?
Wow. Do you want a diaper sponsor?
No.
I mean,
I don't know if some of this stuff is going to go real well, but we're having fun. The rest of the people.
That's all that matters.
Right. What did I get myself into? So, anyway, we really appreciate you coming on the show. Scotty Joe Vegas is coming up. What?
Fantastic show, sir.
Thank you.
How you doing?
God bless you.
So, anything real quickly, and I'm thinking to myself, as we were talking before, I was talking with Bob and Celine. I said, do you think we're promoting gambling as we talk to Scott every week?